Thank you very much, Joy. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you. You'll notice our order of service is slightly different today. And so Reverend Cathie and I are sharing the platform, and we are doing this just a little bit differently in honor of the fact that we don't often do Sunday on New Year's Day. And so there's something really special about 1-1, and that's what we're talking about today. The title of our talk is Inspiration for 2017. One of the themes that runs through all of Science of Mind is the idea that we can live our lives on purpose, intentionally, and that everything is so much richer for us when we choose to do that. And that is what we are talking about in setting an intention and setting a way of doing it. A lot of times, New Year's in our culture, we talk about resolutions. And sometimes we just talk about them to make fun of them, or talk about, yeah, well, how long will that even last through January? And that's kind of a theme that runs through a lot of people talking about setting intentions. And so what we're talking about is a little bit more purposeful in how we go about doing it. Now, we encourage everyone to set goals here at this center. Next Sunday, there'll be a treasure chest, and you will be offered the opportunity to pick up some sheets out there with goals. And so we absolutely encourage that idea of planning, thinking about what you want to do in a new year at the beginning, 1-1. So what we're about today is to sort of inspire that and to help us all to find a vehicle on which to hang the ideas of the things that we want to do. Now, this tradition is actually followed every year in the Unity churches. They do a ceremony associated with this. And that whole idea is inspired by a passage from Revelations, and it reads, "Let anyone who has an ear to listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. To everyone who conquers or overcomes, I will give some of the hidden manna, and I will give a white stone. And on the white stone is written a new name that no one knows except the one who receives it." So in metaphysical terms, the churches is our consciousness. It's your consciousness and mine. And when they say conquer or overcome, what they're talking about is moving away from the physical world, conquering the physical things that distract us and maybe make us think in ways that we would rather not think. And hidden manna is a special understanding that is just for us, because that white stone is the foundation on which we can build that newer consciousness. And it's secret because we go to that secret place within us, that one place that is yours and is mine and is no one else's at the same time. So when you say let anyone, and so it's open to all of us, let anyone who has ears to listen what Spirit is speaking to us and our consciousness, everyone who is not a slave to the physical world can be open to that secret understanding that is ours, that understanding that we have to build on what we want to have this year be. Ernest Holmes says on page 470 that the within may become the without if we carefully train ourselves to the listening of truth, which speaks to us in our moments of quiet and solitude. So that's what this is really about, is learning to listen to that voice within us that is speaking to us and calling to us uniquely, each of us, uniquely to that idea that can build on a greater life. In the meditation that is to follow, you will be invited to find your new name, your new word, your new phrase. What is it that your soul is calling you to do, or to be, or to conquer, or to move out into the world? And the meaning for that is something that no one else can tell you. It can only come from you, and we only do that when we listen, when we take time to listen. And as Ernest Holmes said, in the quietness and in the solitude, we can listen and be guided all of our lives when we take time to do that. Now, only as you listen for your own guidance, you can find out direction, you may find purpose, you may find many other, it may appear to you in many ways. It might be a vision. It might be something that is a word. It might be a phrase. It might be something that I'm not even naming because it is uniquely yours. And so you never force this idea. You simply let it come. Let it be. You are inviting the idea of what is mine to do. What is mine to be? What is it that I want to do in this year, and how do I begin? And all of that can come simply as an understanding, and it may come as a word that you can use as your word, which is a touchstone for all that you're experiencing and the ideas that you're doing. So we are going to move into that meditation. And so I invite you to be comfortable in your chair and to allow yourself to move into that space, to sit in the silence and truly listen. I set an intention and a willingness to quiet my mind from all the distractions and listen to that still, small voice of God. Show me, lead me, guide me, and let me know what you are calling me to do. Let me know which spiritual step will open and expand my spirit, fulfill my soul, and continue the great work I am called to do. Reveal that which I want to know. As you sit in this quiet moment, allow the feeling of the presence to warm you, the feeling of surrounding you. And as you relax in breathing, in body and mind, you become more aware of the power within, of the all-knowing within, in the secret place of the Most High. This is the eternal part of you, which is perfect in all ways. Allow that eternal you to come into your mind's eye. Allow it to appear as a physical presence before you, robed in simple fabric. This eternal part of you moves away from you in your mind's eye, moving toward the well that is just over there. It moves slowly, but purposefully. As it arrives at the well, it bends over slightly to peer into the well of wisdom. This well is the wisdom within you. It is calling your new name. You ask, what is the new name? What is my word? What is my vision? What is mine to do? Allow yourself to listen as the eternal you turns its face to you and speaks your name. Beloved presence, I take this moment to sit in the silence and truly listen. I set an intention and a willingness to quiet my mind from all of the distractions and listen to that still, small voice of God. Show me, lead me, guide me, and let me know what I am called to do. Let me know which spiritual step will open and expand my spirit, fulfill my soul, and continue the great work I am called to do. Living, loving Spirit, I give thanks for this opportunity to quiet my mind, to be still, and to listen to the still small voice of God, to that divine wisdom that is seeking to express as more good in my life. I give thanks for all of the growth that I have experienced up to now, and for the continued growth and expansion of my soul. I give thanks that as my word, my vision comes clear to me, I press this idea into my heart, into my soul, and I know that its fulfillment is the great life that God is calling me to live. Thank you, God. Thank you. And so it is. Amen. And so, as you find your word and you find your phrase, your vision, you can share it or you can hold on to it. You can use this idea as you fill out your goal sheets that you put in for next week, and you can use it to remind you that you want to be intentional in life. Because Ernest Holmes says that the more that we do that, the more that we listen and allow that to be in our lives, the more fulfilling will be our life. Spirit is for good and for only good, and allowing that to come forth, we have that wonderful feeling of goodness and plenty and abundance and ever so much joy. I thank you very much for being here, and we are going to rise and sing a congregational song very quickly.
You are the light.
You are the light. And you know, if you're into numerology, today's a 111 day. It's a 3 ones, the Blessed Trinity. Here we go.
This is part 2 of a shared spotlight, and I want to thank Reverend Catherine for her introduction to a wonderful new year. I'm absolutely amazed that you're all here. So this is your intention to have a grand 2017. My resolution, it came of last night, is that I plan to be able to pretend to sing the words of Auld Lang Syne a little better than I did last night. So we're saying goodbye to a year that, was full of turmoil, conflict, tough things to face, medical stuff, and challenges, and, that's enough about my year. How was your year? I mean, I trust you had a better one. And I want to say thank you for Joy for giving away all my comments in her first song. But this is an exciting time. We're starting this lovely new year, and we sing a song, especially in first service usually, where we say, I let myself have a new beginning. I'm moving on to a brand new life. And I wonder how much we mean that. And it's letting ourselves have a wonderful new life that's really, really important, because we face those challenges of change. And I wasn't really joking when I talked about my year last year. It was a tremendously full year of opportunities for change, of bringing people into my life when I needed them. Great mentors, great teachers, and surprising experiences that tore away a lot of the layers that I didn't even know I had. I was given a book called Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda, and I would have read it, but I should have left more time, and then I could have done it. So that's still by the bed waiting to be read. I apologize to my mentor and friend that lent it to me. One of the most important things for me was another book that I was led to called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And we tend to say in this teaching, this is just an appearance, and I say it all the time, take your mind off the problem, put your mind on God. But this book and my experiences last year, which some of you know about, taught me that if we don't deal with those buried feelings, they do stay alive and they manifest. And it's like sticking a Band-Aid on a nasty boil. We deal with it, and then we free ourselves to live a glorious life. And I hope we all do that this year. I read a great story about a builder. He was elderly, he wanted a new life, he wanted to share more time with his family, friends, and so he wanted to retire. He was a carpenter. So he told his boss, this is it, I'm done. I've built my last house, I'm out of here. I can manage financially, and so I just wanted to let you know. And his boss said to him, look, would you just build one more house, and then I will let you go with love. So he did it, but I know that there are some of us here today that the minute we decide to retire, we just can't wait. That's a slippery slope. And he had the same attitude. So he built this house, but it was a little bit sloppy. And he didn't use wonderful materials, and he just wanted to get it out of the way so he could retire, because that was his dream. And at the end of it, the construction manager came to him and said, "You've finished the job, that's terrific," and handed him the keys. And he said, "This is my gift to you Yeah, hit me the same way. This is my gift to you. I hope you enjoy your retirement. Can you imagine? Well, you can, I can tell. If only I'd used really good material. If only I'd built this with more love. Every time we put a board in place in our life, every time we hammer a nail into the construction of our lives, we're building it. We're building that life. And like Joy sang about, that we believe in our ability to create a new life, but we got to think about it. I was once sort of patted on the head by a friend who said to somebody else, "Oh, she's such a seeker." And it was really patronising, and I was I won't use that word, I was a little bit annoyed. And then I realised that if we don't keep seeking, we're going to die. Mentally and spiritually, emotionally, we'll die. That's part of this teaching. It's one of freedom. It's not doing things the way we always did it before. And Joseph Campbell said, we must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned so that we can have the life that's waiting for us. I'm booming beautifully. So one of the great experiences that came into my life this year was sort of accidentally seeing Tony Robbins talking about creating a new story. And in the vein of that building a house, he said, we all have blueprints for our lives. As children, we have dreams, we have fantasies, and then we get real. So we get an education, we get a job, we get a house with a picket fence, we have the family, we've found our partner, we're all set. And we can even be successful enough to have a fabulous company. We can be really rich. We can do whatever we want, but we're unfulfilled. And he encourages people to ask themselves, why do I feel unfulfilled? Now, whether or not you've got all the trappings of a rich and prosperous life, there's that little niggling feeling about, I'm not happy, I'm not content. And so he encourages you to either change your blueprint or change your life. We can go to change your thoughts and change your life. But he says there's three things you can do. You can accept it and you can be unhappy. You can blame somebody or you can blame circumstances. Or you can change your blueprint. And in light of what Reverend Katherine shared with us, it's listening to what our hearts tell us is the real us. I know you've read a lot of articles about people that give up banking or high finance or their career and stuff because finally they're happy, they live in the country and they've got a dog and they're growing their own vegetables and they're fulfilled. And I encourage you to think about what would bring you joy, what would bring you a feeling of contentment, and be courageous. The title of today's talks are Inspirations for 2017, and I'm not going to give you any inspirations. You are my inspirations. You know who you are. We've talked about plans for this year, getting rid of nonsense, getting on our track. We've talked about peeling off the layers of pretense and finding our authentic selves. And I've had the privilege of seeing that light come on in the classes that I've taught of, oh, I get it. I've also had the privilege of watching one particular person with tremendous courage. This takes guts to go, I'm in a mess and I don't see any way out of it. I'm really, really stuck. And to take those steps that took courage to, well, this is what I have to do next. Well, this is who I have to talk to. Well, this is how I have to do this. And the joy of each step being positive instead of terrifying. This is what this teaching is all about. And if you don't know that, I really encourage you to start off the new year by turning up next Saturday at 10 o'clock when Reverend Mary starts her new class. She's basing it on this thing called You. I'm not sure I like being called a thing, but never mind. It's one of Ernest Holmes' most famous books, and it's dynamic. And if you've done the class before, you do it again, because every time we do a class again, we're a different person. We've grown. So, and just as talking about inspiration, one of my greatest inspirations in this teaching is Reverend Jin Haskell. I can still see us up here that one Sunday when the speaker didn't turn up, and she leant on the podium and went, I often wondered what would happen if someone didn't turn up. And then went on to inspire us. And as I'm sure you all know by now, she made a transition a couple of weeks ago. And next Saturday is her memorial at 2 o'clock. So you can do Reverend Mary's class, and then you can have a lunch, and then come back and celebrate Reverend June. So there's a Hasidic tale that says the only question when we die that will be asked is, were you yourself? And this teaching helps us be ourselves and learn who we really are. And the questions that Reverend Katherine presented to you in that meditation are really, really valid. And if you know anything about vision, and you can do that for your life, and I'm going to race through them, but you spend time going, what is the highest vision and purpose of my life? What must I become to empower my vision when I finally get it? This can take weeks, not 3 seconds. What must I release and what must I embrace? And is there any information I need at this moment? I can't get you inspired until you're receptive and ready for the inspiration that's available to you from so many wonderful people. I just have to talk about another person that inspires me. It was posted on Facebook just a couple of days ago. Do I still set goals? My answer is, heck yes, I do. Don't set New Year's resolutions. Set moment, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly visions and resolutions. Right now, my focus is on my faith, on my health, my ohana, my business, and my craft. I know that a lot of crazy is going on in the world, but not relying on ourselves or our higher power, whatever that is for you, does nothing for the world and only promotes negative reactions. My vision for this world is faith, inclusion, happiness, and love. Some may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. She does credit John Lennon with that. Your voice, your thoughts, your actions, your light can change the world. One race, one world, one love. She's a writer. She's an advocate. She's a successful planner for fundraising. She surfs. She's even jumped out of airplanes, stupid woman. And she had her headshots updated last year to follow up on her craft. She plans to move forward with all this, and she's accomplished so much more than you would think, because this amazing woman is unable to move from the neck down. For those that don't speak ALS very well, her wonderful caregiver, Jennifer, has said, I speak ALS well, I'll translate for you. If she wants to communicate with us, she just stares at a computer screen and it speaks for her. And most of you know Jolie. And Jolie, you're not here today, but God bless you. You are my inspiration, and I love you. So, and the thing is, she credits this teaching for surpassing all the levels of what her condition will do. Talk about inspiration. So I'm going to finish with I want to inspire you a little bit. If you can start the day without caffeine, if you can always be cheerful, ignoring aches and pains, if you can resist complaining and boring people with your troubles, if you can eat the same food every day and be grateful for it, if you can understand when your loved ones are too busy to give you any time, when you can take criticism and blame without resentment, if you can conquer tension without medical help, if you can relax without alcohol, if you can sleep without the aid of drugs, you're probably the family dog. So when you move through your day today, I liked it too. Ask yourself, what's my blueprint? And if you need to change it, change it. You'll be supported and guided. Don't let yourself be put off by people that are afraid of you changing. This is the place to learn about it. Next Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. And remember Reverend Jin. And so just remember, that song says, I let myself have a new beginning. Let yourself. Thank you, everybody.